Good evening, sports fans, and welcome to Thursday Night Live on the Prep Sports Court Facebook page. It's the coach, Carl Damasi, back in the saddle. We got the columnist, Stephen Elmo Weeks, and our guest is waiting in the broadcast waiting booth. But once again, Stephen, Thursday night, you're back. I mean, you've done your family traveling. You got a little golf lesson going on right now and a driving lesson. You can do my job.
Yeah. My son was practicing golf, so we're mobile. We're headed back to get back in the car. But yeah, it's good to be back on the Thursday night prep sports. A couple good y'all did a couple good shows while I was gone. I'm glad to be back though.
Well, you just heard the big news. Savannah State, the SEAC conference, not Savannah State, who's part of the SEAC conference, just closed down all fall sports.
Yeah. Really unfortunate. Obviously, all of us are missing sports, and I think we just have to take it one day at a time and be grateful for what we do have. I'm really grateful the PGA Tour is playing, and if baseball is going to play, I'll watch. If basketball plays, I'll watch. And I think we just have to take it one day at a time and be grateful for what we do have, because this is the new normal. We're just going to have to do the best we can with what we got.
You got that right. Well, anyway, this to me is a hidden gem here in Savannah, Georgia. This gymnasium, this organization has done a lot for our youth in the Savannah area. It's been going on since 2005. I mean, they do a great job with our local youth. Besides a weightlifting gym, they also have extra after-school health programs. They feed the kids. And this young lady has always been a big supporter of what goes on here in Savannah, Georgia. And she is a USA Olympic or a USA big-time weightlifter herself. Joining us now on Thursday Night Live is the executive director and the founder of Performance Incentives Gym over there on, I think it's right off of Pennsylvania Avenue, Kerry Goodrich. Kerry, good evening. How's it going?
It's going great. We're also dealing with the COVID-19 issues with sports as well too. But so our new location is now on Austin Bluff,
Kerry, Carl.
off of President Street.
No, she's on. Go ahead, Kerry.
Yep. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear us, Steve?
Hey guys, I'm having a little technical difficulty. I will be right back. I'll join as soon as I can get a better signal.
You got it.
Okay.
All right, Kerry, go right ahead. So so it's moved from Pennsylvania area?
We moved about a year and a half ago. We partnered with Second Harvest. So we're right off of Austin Bluff next to the Second Harvest Volunteer Center. So we have it's broken up in different areas. So we have a better flow, and we also have climate controlled sections and a backyard with a safer area. So we're really enjoying it, and we like the facility a lot.
You just moved down the road, though. You weren't far from there.
No, it's 2 miles down the road, exactly, just right down the road.
So, I don't know how many people know. I hope Savannah knows that you're the founder and the executive director of Performance Incentives. What made you want to do this way back when in 2005?
I came from the sport myself, and what I saw was a lot of younger athletes up and coming, but not a lot of attention paid to reaching their full potential as a person. And I believe that God gave us gifts and talents to share and put us in different places to serve with service. And so that's what my husband and I prayed about for a long time. And as I was retiring, this is where our passion and our hearts were. And we've just seen so many of the young people thrive and excel. It just motivates us, and it really instills even more focus in us to provide the best opportunities, more opportunities, and to take it to the next level every year.
And you need to tell people it's not just weightlifting, the coastal weightlifting team and all that other stuff. You got a lot more going on over there. Tell people what else goes on besides weightlifting and keeping these kids fit.
So we provide tutors and educational components. We just picked our first cucumbers from our garden this year that got planted late because of the COVID-19. So we do a lot of the holistic approach with heart, minds, and bodies. We partner with local area churches. So we're also a certified huddle area. So we have huddles throughout the week and throughout the summer camps. And we try to train and bring in good mentors for our kids. Each youth is going through different situations, so we try to match them with the right mentor for them that'll do the long walk with them all the way. And so we just finished getting Nyerica Goodwin, getting the Zeller Grant scholarship award for college, and finished setting her up and getting her schedule today. So that was really exciting. She's going on a weightlifting scholarship as well. So we do have some athletes going to school, not just academically, but athletically, and they're thriving that way as well.
And, if people went to, or they go to the new Prep Sports Report website, I'm pretty impressed. You honored your seniors, Dante Dowse. Who else we have? Nakira Goodwin, Jan Gonzala, Randy Lewis, and Takara Frazier. But Dante Dowse, a doctor, went through your program. Yep. How special is that? How does that make you feel and your husband feel that this young doctor came through Savannah and through your program?
We're so proud of him, and we're so proud of but not just of the young man, but the man of God that he is, but he mentors some of our younger men that are up and coming, because they've gone through the same things and they have to make the same choices. It's like Carlos Millen, he always tells everybody, it's all about choices. You all have the same choices. There's opportunities and doors open for you here through the programs, but you have to decide to walk through them and then work the steps to get there. It's not just handed to you. So he has shown that, but he also continues to mentor younger men as well. And then his wife he met at Savannah State, and she's just another incredible lady, and she also mentors some of our young women.
I mean, just a lot of success stories coming out of your program, and I just want people to know that Dante Dowse went through the Performance Incentives Initiatives Program, South C. Johnson High School, Savannah State, Mercer, and he's going to specialize in head and neck surgery. That's pretty something special right there.
He is very special, and he's very focused, and he's not afraid to tell you about how it's the hard work and how you stay focused and you don't let things distract you. So many things in life can pull you to go hang with your friends, to go out on the street, to go do this and go do that, and how you have to stay focused and balance yourself. And so he's very open about talking to that. He posts openly to continue mentoring others. And because some people don't realize how they see the success, but they don't see where they started. And this has been a journey since a sophomore year in high school. And he had some really tough choices to make, in his younger years. And so he shares those stories. And a lot of people don't hear about the success of our athletes until they're already succeeding. But what they don't know is they've already been here for 4 or 5, sometimes 6 years, because there's a lot of things to do to get on track. We have to academically get on track, our life skills, and then we can move forward to the fun stuff and the more prestigious things.
And you talked about Nakira. How do I say it? Nyerica Goodwin?
Nyerica Goodwin. Mm-hmm.
I mean, salutatorian at the Savannah Classical Academy. I mean, that's got to be a pretty special moment. And she's got a weightlifting scholarship, and she's going to do it at go there, Bruton Parker. I mean, you announced that at the beginning of the show here. I mean, all kids, no matter what. I mean, they excel in the classroom and they excel through athletics, and weightlifting is another choice that you've probably seen through a lot of these kids.
I see through a lot of them, and they don't understand what that is. And then one of the girls, she just started this summer. She's like, this is really hard. But then a week later, she's like, I really am enjoying this. Can I be like Nyerica? Can I be like Nia? Can I be like Kaya? And so I said, yes. And then, our older athletes tell them that's exactly where they started when they were 9 or 10, and they started in a summer camp. Then they started moving their first competitions, youth nationals, and moving up from there. And even our older athletes now are understanding that not at first it was fun. They traveled, they saw different places, they learned different things, but now they're using their abilities and their platform to help make changes in our country, that they want to be part of the positive change and not just be a part of a riot. They want to impact lifelong changes and in the next generation. And I'm so proud of the way they talk about it. You'll see in the next couple of weeks, they'll start some series of posts about it and talking about what our team's been discussing and how we're going to present as a team. And they're so mature, and they really care about the bigger picture and not just the accolades and getting recognized intermittently. And now they're using their platform because they're connecting internationally. They're making connections that will last for a lifetime. Like even after they finish college, they're going to start being ambassadors, not just for Savannah, but for our country.
Guys, I'm sorry,
with I
had a little technical difficulty there, but one of the
Welcome
questions
back.
I wanted to ask about these kids is what you just said is how much does the training contribute to their maturation and sort of the discipline they have to have? How much does that contribute to their maturation as young people, as well as, obviously incredibly accomplished athletes?
It contributes a lot to it. With the training, they have to follow a code of conduct. They have to have their grades up. They have to be disciplined enough. They don't get to an international level. So like Taeyeon's a 2-time junior national champion and a university national champion, 2-time world team member. You don't get to that level without that discipline and that commitment to training. So, we have COVID-19 or we have spring break. They still have to make the decision to come in and train because they're 6 weeks out from a national qualifier or an international meet. And so they have to have that discipline. And it develops over time. It doesn't happen like all at once. Even after these online qualifiers, I have an athlete, he did a 15-kilo PR. And the question on the board they had to answer is, what did you learn about yourself through this competition and changes? And 2 of them that didn't make the world team, their answer was that what we do in training matters and the discipline and consistency makes the difference of the ranking. And so they have to learn that throughout their maturation and their maturity of their training cycle. And each athlete gets it at a different time. And so it's better if you get it at 12 or 14 versus 18 or 19. But as long as they can realize it and have that self-realization and instill it and start applying that, not just to their sport, but their academics, their jobs, whatever they're committed to.
I mean, you watch these kids grow, and one of the kids that I got to watch grow was Taeyeon Vereen. I mean, he's one of those kids that started out, and I can't believe the growth that young man had when I interviewed him last year as an athlete of the week. I mean, you could see it in these kids.
You can see in the way they handle themselves and their self-confidence is what I'm trying to say. They just carry themselves differently. They talk differently, and they're not afraid to talk with other kids and to mentor them and to share their stories. And they're very impressive in the way they share their stories. A lot of times when we coach and we teach and it's a large group and you're outside, you don't get time to really hear what they're saying to their friends. And one of the pleasures of coaching and traveling with them is you get to have those conversations. And they're just sharing a conversation. They're like, hey, man, it's your choice. You can learn the hard way or you can learn the right way, and you can follow. If you want to be where I am, this is what I had to do, and you've got to learn it this way. And so they really save a lot of hardship for the up-and-coming athletes now because they put that time into talking with them and mentoring them.
So how many competitions do y'all do in a calendar year? I know this year is going to be different, obviously, but in a typical year, how many competitions will these athletes enter into?
It depends on the level of the athlete. So last year we had 18 competitions, but not every athlete was in that. Those are different levels. So some are local meets that we hold for first-time lifters that have to qualify and they have to get practice being on that stage. And some of them are a national level, and some are juniors, some are youth, some are university level. And some of our athletes qualify for the senior level, so they go there. And then, like some of them last year, they qualified for different international levels. They qualified for the Youth World and for the Youth Pan Am, or they qualified for Junior World and for the Junior Pan Am. So they would go to those international meets as well. So each athlete, at whatever level they're at, we have to develop their training cycle for that level.
And You'll watch it Thursday night live right here on the Prep Sports Report Facebook page. It's the coach, Carl Damasi, with the columnist, Stephen Elmo Weeks. And we got the director of performance initiatives, Jim Kerry Goodrich here on tonight. So we talked about 18 competitions. Before Kerry, you came on, you heard us talking about Savannah State canceling all 4 sports. Well, as you stated to me, the United States Weightlifting Association finally said, okay, let's do a virtual competition. And you got some of your athletes going on to Worlds for the Team USA.
Yeah, and that was a very unique situation, and I'm so glad that they moved forward and they're very much thinking outside the box and keeping the athletes going, because they did miss the Junior Worlds, and they did miss the Youth Pan Ams because of the COVID, and so now we're going into the fall, and that was our last qualifying meet, and then we've got the American Open 3 series, which some of them will go to just to get on a big stage again in September to get ready for the international meets in November. And then they moved all of our youth nationals and the American Open final to December. And I'm glad it's in Atlanta, so we don't have to take all of our team to somewhere too expensive. We can travel safely, and as parents can come and stuff. But yeah, and so they even moved our Junior Pan Ams were supposed to be in October. They moved them to the end of November.
Okay.
So it sounds like for the rest of this year, there's going to be different things, but you're right. It's great to see that they're being innovative and using technology to let the kids continue to compete. What are the training schedules like right now? Are y'all able to train in a regular fashion, or are kids just working out on their own, or how are y'all handling all of that?
So we train our competition team that's at a national or international level trains together 4 days a week. And then our newer athletes, they have either a summer camp of academics in the mornings, and then they are in small groups of 8 in the afternoons for training. And then we rotate them throughout the weekdays. So the building is constantly filled. It's just different groups and smaller groups and different levels of technique.
Now, as far as the 3 athletes that are going on to the Youth World Competition, tell us about them. Tell us about Taeyeon and Naya and Kaya.
So Nia is a rising senior at Johnston High School, and so she was part of the Youth World team last year. That was the first time the youth women ever won the Youth World, and she was a medalist there as well. And this is her first junior year. She just turned 18 this year, so she won the Junior Nationals this year, and she earned her spot on the Junior Pan Am. So for her, last year the Worlds were in Las Vegas, so she hasn't traveled. This will be her first travel outside of the country. So we'll be going to Colombia, and then Kaya is a very impressive athlete. She's a 3-time national champion. She holds national records in 2 weight classes. She also medaled at the Youth Worlds last year, but that was in Las Vegas. So this is also her first time traveling out of country, and she'll be going to Lima, Peru with us in October. She's a 8th grader going in the STEM Academy. She's very smart with games and technology.
So are we talking about? And I'm sorry if I'm unfamiliar with this, but are we talking about future Olympians here, or potential future Olympians?
They have the potential to be if they choose that pathway as they go. Now, Taeyeon has already said that's his pathway. That's what he's focused on. Starting in January 2021, we start focusing on the next quad and the qualifications for those trials, and that's his pathway. Nia has also said that's the pathway she wants to go. She's not so sure that 2024 will be the year because she has to transition into college, but she's going to give it her best shot, and 2028 might be a better shot for her. Kaya is 15, and so at 15, you're still trying to figure out who you are, much less anywhere else, and I think that's a lot of commitment for a 15-year-old and a pressure to put on them. So she's just enjoying the training, enjoying finding out who she is and what she likes and what she's good at. And enjoying the process. So as long as she's having fun and she's doing well, then that's where she needs to be.
Now, you being a former U.S. Women's National Olympic weightlifter, do they look up to you, and do they ask you what it's like and how you went about your career?
Sometimes they just look at me like, well, you're just special, coach, and we're not that good yet. Because they have to also see it for themselves.
Right.
And so I introduce them to a lot of my friends and teammates that were Olympians or that are competing for the Olympics now for that team. And they ask a lot of questions, and they're very analytical, which I'm proud of. They're kind of quiet at first, but they analyze a lot of things, and they come back and ask amazing questions. And they process that. So they do ask, but they also think that I'm an oddity for some reason. They can't do that yet. But now at this level, they're starting to see that, yeah, what coach has been saying, what people have been telling me is real, and I really have this potential and I really can do it. And as teenagers, they're balancing, well, do I want to stay up late tonight or do I want to do well in training tomorrow? So they're still figuring out some of that too.
Well, it definitely sounds like, I think it sounds like your sport lends itself to a mathematical mind or an analytical mind. Is that something that you see from a lot of your athletes? I heard you mention that earlier in terms of making incremental gains and percentage gains. Is that something that y'all talk about in those terms? And does it sounds like it'd really contribute to their development as students, and especially math students?
The athletes, we don't go through. The coaches run all the numbers. So the coaches look at those spreadsheets. We look at those percentages. We look at, for the last 3 years, what are the world champion totals? Right. What are what if they make this weight class? What if they grow and they go to this? So we run all that and drive, our heads hurt from all that. Right. I don't ever share a lot of that with the kids because they overthink it and they put so much pressure on themselves. So we just talk about what's our short-term goal, what's our long-term goal, and increasing our totals by 2 to 4 kilos each month.
Yep.
And how do we get there? And if we made a mistake in a competition, I had an athlete that really should have made the world team, and he just overthunk. He let his head get to him. He made a mistake in the qualifier, and he missed the team. And he was mad at first, but then he's like, I did what I shouldn't have done. I overthought it. I let my head get to me, and I just got to come back and train and make my next team. And 3 days later, he was, back in training, and he's fine. And he's like, okay, here's my goals. Here's what I want to do. And we just talk about if it's realistic, how do we get there? How do we balance with your work and college schedule? And then set the goals from there. So a lot of the mathematics part is on the coach's end and the coaching staff. And then we just break it down to how they can be successful and keep it fun for them so they don't put too much pressure on themselves or overthink anything.
So, yeah. Carl, it sounds like every other sport, Carl, the coaches work harder than the kids, right?
Well, sometimes it seems that way, but they got to go on the whether it's on the platform or on the court or on the field or on the golf course. They're the ones that got to perform. So we can only lead them there. They just got to figure it out themselves, like Kerry's been saying the whole time. So
I always tell them it's a partnership. This is my job, this is your job, and if we don't communicate and have the same goals moving forward, we're not going to work well together. And so we just go at it as a partnership.
So I want to let people know performance initiatives. What did I say before? What was I saying before, Kerry?
Performance incentives.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I can't read my own handwriting, so I do apologize. Performance initiatives, and I've known that name for I don't know how long. But tell them that, it's a nonprofit organization. How do you get support? How do you get people to help you? How do you keep this going?
We write a lot of grants. We work really hard writing grants. We do several fundraisers, and thanks to Ann Robertson with Momentum, last year she created 2 signature fundraisers for us. And so one is called Stand Up for Kids, where local people come sign up and they're comedians. They help raise money and they put on a comic show for everybody. And we usually honor our seniors at that event, but it was canceled in May. It's relocated to November 6th this year. And then on Black Friday every year, we do a scavenger hunt at Skidaway Island Park. And that is so much fun. It's a load of fun. And so we use those as our 2 major fundraisers. And then we do smaller things throughout the year. And then this year, there's a team from up by North Georgia that actually wanted to help out a local weightlifting team that does things in the community, that does youth programs. And so they're selling T-shirts to help our kids, our athletes pay for travel for the youth nationals. And they'll start posting all that tomorrow. So we were really touched by that. They called and said, is it okay? How do you want it worded? They were great. And we really appreciate that. So they'll start that tomorrow.
That's great.
So those are a lot of things. And then we have some private donors that they donate every month. They've committed to 1 year, 5 years every month. And so that's part of our funding as well.
Well, definitely let us know how people can make contributions, and we'll put that on our Facebook page and, let all of our followers. Carl's got about 10,000 of them, and gosh knows how many other people listen to him and see him every week. So we'll put it on our Facebook page and let you know let them know how to support these great kids.
Thank you. There's a donation link on our website too, and I sent that to Carla. It's pifitness.org, and so they can go and they can become a monthly donor or just a one-time donor. There's also a section if they're interested in volunteering, they can fill out that. And our volunteer coordinator, Valerie Walker, will give them a call and talk to them about where they can plug in at.
Great. And aren't all the coaches volunteers?
All of our coaches are volunteers. We're so fortunate. We have one coach that was a graduate from Georgia Southern, and he's on board with us part-time. And so he is staff here, and he's amazing with our kids. So we're very blessed to have him, and he does a great job with our younger kids. And so we have a coach now, and we're looking at in the fall to probably bring someone else on too. We'll start interviews next week. Just because we have to keep smaller groups with the COVID-19 procedures.
Right.
So we're going to need another coach on site that can just be dedicated to our youth development.
And I know, Carrie, you've heard me say this to you many times. It's Performance Initiatives Gym. Okay. Now they're over by Second Harvest Food Bank. Okay. Over there. And they're no longer on Pennsylvania Avenue. They went around the block. You do such a great job. And I know I try to post every week about where to get the kids lunch, because we know a lot of kids, that's the only way they're going to get their meals, breakfast and lunch. And your facility is one of the places to go. But it's like your kids. You care about these kids so much. You do a great job with them. And Savannah's lucky that they got a person like you do it, and your husband got someone doing this program, because it's unbelievable.
We have a whole community that plugs in here. It's not just me. I'm kind of like the head person that organizes everything and has the ideas, but we have a lot of volunteers throughout the community that make this happen. It's no way could we be able to have this kind of outreach with just one person. So we're very blessed that way, and we appreciate all of our volunteers and supporters.
Well, I appreciate what you do. Thanks for coming on. And the door's always open. The email is always open. Send me the info. I'll try and get out there as much as I can. And we got to keep this going, because it's such a great thing for these kids. And I've seen the kids. Weightlifting is such a big part of some of these kids' lives that, it drives them to be, student athletes, role models, and it makes them successful. And that's what we're here to help them be successful. And it's not just, I know weightlifting in your place. I mean, you're trying to teach them to be great students, great athletes, great community leaders, and you're doing, with all your volunteers, doing a great job.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you for having us.
Well, pleasure having you, Carrie. I'll keep in touch. You keep in touch. You tell my people, I'll tell your people, and we'll get together.
Sounds good.
Thanks, Carrie.
Come by anytime. Have a great evening.
Now I got to come to the new place, because the last time I was at the old place, I won't get lost because I know where it's at.
It's 2 miles down the road. You'll love it. We even have air conditioning now. So
nice.
It's great.
Nice. All right.
Have a great day.
Appreciate it.
Bye.
Be safe. I mean, let's see if Mr. Weeks is back here.
I'm back, man.
We can hear you, Stephen.
I had some challenges tonight. I thought I could do it on my phone, but it didn't work the way I thought it would. Apparently, Verizon is not.
Well, I got to tell you. Yeah, well, down in that area where you are, I mean, it's not very good service.
Well, I'm sorry if I interrupted that amazing interview with a woman who is doing incredible things in our community. What some great stories coming out of Performance Initiatives. That's incredible. And I'll make sure tonight I'll share on our Facebook page all the information about how to contribute to Performance Initiatives. And that sounds like an incredible program, building tremendous young people, and obviously turning out just Olympic caliber, potentially athletes, right?
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, if you go to, and I don't have to say Performance Initiatives and mess it up again, it's PI Fitness. PIfitness.org. There's a donation. There's a donation link there. They're located at 2635 Cawston Bluff in Savannah, Georgia. Kerry just texted me to let me know the information. And I mean, anything you could do to help. Like she said, it's all volunteers, and she can't name all the volunteers, but what they do for our kids, and after school tutorials and taking care of kids. They're part of that free breakfast and lunch program that Second Harvest does every week. So they do a lot for the kids in our community.
Well, and it's not, what I liked is hearing Carrie talk about the discipline, and these kids are making sacrifices that are somewhat unimaginable. You know, they're sacrificing social life and things like that for their sport, and that to me is going to carry them a long way, regardless of how they do competitively. And that's just that's good work. That's God's work right there.
Oh, and I first met Jerry, believe it or not. I don't know how she found the time to do it. She was the area Fellowship of Christian Athletes supervisor, and I just couldn't believe how she could do that, run the gym, run the weightlifting teams. I mean, it's just simply amazing. But Performance Initiatives, I mean, their mission is to inspire and implement principles and programs which will in turn enrich the lives of others physically, psychologically, and spiritually. And that's what they're doing. So she does a great job. All right, quickly before we get out of here. I mean, they did that weightlifting tournament virtually for these young weightlifters to go to this Team USA event. I don't know. With colleges now, we lost the Ivy League. They canceled their fall season. Now the SEAC, which Savannah State is part of, they canceled their fall season. The Big Ten now has gone to just a conference schedule if they get there. I don't know what's going to happen here with our prep sports here, buddy.
I don't know what's going to happen with high school sports. And like I said, I think we just have to take it one day at a time. And I trust that the people in positions of authority will make the best decisions for both the students, their safety, and their development as young people. And, I hope that for the sake of seniors and kids who are working really hard to get ready, I hope they have a chance to compete, because I know how much they'll miss it if not. But if it's not deemed safe and it's not, it certainly brings back into perspective. It's just a game, and I know it means a lot more than that to a lot of us, but it is just a game, and it's not worth getting sick. It's not worth infecting your grandmother or your uncle or something like that. And, I think it's a time for prayer and reflection, and just take it one day at a time. I don't think there's a right answer to it, Carl.
No, there isn't. Like you said, the safety of you, safety of others should be the most important point right here. And, I know sports takes away from life's negative experiences. It gives us something else to do. It takes our mind off of the things that we sometimes don't want to deal with. And, I just feel bad because if they do cancel fall sports, you're talking about the senior volleyball players, the senior cross-country runners, the senior football players, the cheerleaders. You're talking about the softball players, the band members. It's going to impact a lot of these kids. And it's not going to be like college where they're going to get another year to stay. So hopefully it works out.
I hope you're right. I think maybe there's a way that the schedules will be shifted or something like that. Certainly, I hope that I hope a vaccine is developed soon, and we can go back to living normally, or we find a way to deal with this. But you got a lot of kids who put in a lot of work, and certainly I know the young people in the spring were devastated. They didn't get to play, and you can't get that time back. I really feel for all these people who are having to make these decisions, because I know everybody in the positions of authority loves prep athletics, loves high school sports as much as we do. And I know the last thing that they want to do is hurt these kids or take something away from them. But I wouldn't want to be in that position. It's a very, very challenging position to be in.
All right. On the bright side, though, the Prep Sports Report redone website. It's been getting out there big time, right?
Yeah, it's incredible the amount of traffic that we are generating. We have great stories in our community, and that helps. Great people like Carrie who are doing wonderful things for our kids. Really proud of how much we've been able to accomplish with the prep sports, highlighting so many young people. And we're not going to stop doing that, regardless of what decision is made. We're going to keep highlighting people. We'll highlight golfers, cross-country runners, whoever's competing. We'll find a way to make sure that people know about them. that's the best we can do. I think I'll tell you this: at some point, sports is going to come back, and when it does, I think we're all going to be more grateful for it than ever before in our lives. I don't think anybody's going to take a high school football game for granted ever again. I think we're all going to be in the stands and in the press box and on the radio and everywhere and at the pep rallies, because we'll never take it for granted again. This has been the most unusual time of my lifetime, your lifetime, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think we'll ever again take for granted, we'll go next week. I think the stands will be packed every time the kids play. I think the stands will be packed when basketball starts and when baseball starts, soccer. And I hope that what happens is when we come back to sports, we appreciate how much they mean to us. And we appreciate the hard work that the athletes put in, honestly, to entertain us. Certainly they're out there competing to satisfy their own dreams and visions, but they're also out there entertaining us and taking our mind off of our work stress and our other stuff for 2 or 3 hours. And, I hope that when we do get back, which we will, we'll all be grateful for the coaches, the athletes, the guy moving the chains on the sideline, the referees, the PA announcers, the reporters, everybody who makes sports part of our lives. I know this. First time a football is kicked off in Savannah, I'm gonna be in the stands somewhere.
So will I. So. But all right, Steve. I appreciate it. Remember, every Thursday night at 7 p.m. right here on the Prep Sports Report Facebook page. It's Thursday Night Live with the coach, Carl DeMasi, and the columnist, Stephen Elmo Weeks. Have a good one, Stephen. I'll talk to you over the weekend. Keep safe.
Man. Absolutely. Take care. Be safe.
You got it. So this is the coach, Carl DeMasi, and of course, Stephen Elmo Weeks, the columnist. Enjoy the rest of your week. Hopefully, it's been the best week ever for you. And remember, until Saturday morning when I'm back here again with the coach and the AD on the Carl DeMasi Sports Report from the Soundgarden Coaches Corner, keep safe. Keep living what you do. Keep believing in what you're doing. Do it safely. But like Stephen said, sports will come back. Safety first, and we'll go from there. So once again, I'll talk to you on Saturday. I'm out of here. God bless. Be safe.